Hi guys, so today I am up bright and early and I'm delighted to be joined by Katy English, aka Little Miss Katy, who is a food, travel, lifestyle blogger.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are both full-time bloggers, and a lot of people say, how do you make money out of it? How do you make this a living? And so we thought we'd film a video to let you know how we do it.
So I started blogging in 2014 and I've spent I spent 18 months basically focusing on building my blog enough so that I could go full time and just do that as my business. So
and how much,
yeah.
Because I think that's something that people may not realise, but I did the same. I spent like 3 or 4 years working on building the blog up while working a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
And so it's, literally no sleep. You're working 8 hours a day and then you're going home and you're working as many hours as you can on that. It's, to get to the point of giving up your job, you've got to nearly kill yourself in working on it. So one of the other questions that people are asking was about working with PR companies and how to be noticed by them, how to get them to kind of acknowledge that you're there. And I don't know how it was for you, but I still struggle 6 years later with some PR companies, to be taken seriously, and it can be really difficult.
Yeah, I think because we're different, we're different niches, different genres. I think with something like theatre, there's always going to be people who have this traditional thing ingrained in their head. Unless it's in print, it's not worth it. Whatever. The internet is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. More and more papers and printed magazines are closing down because people aren't buying them. People aren't reading them. Why would you when you can go online and read it for free?
Yeah.
So in terms of theatre blogging, it's not going, oh, can you give me some free tickets? It's what can you offer the PR? Why should they give you the tickets?
Yeah.
And just going, oh, because I really like theatre and I'll write a review. Well, that doesn't mean anything to them. You need to have either an audience or an engagement. So, if you've got 20,000 followers, great. If you've got 5,000 followers, but out of those 5,000, 3,000 of them are listening to you and going out and buying tickets, that's a massive thing to have.
Yeah.
Even if you've only got an audience of 200, if you can show them that 200 people are going out and buying tickets because of your review, that's a really powerful thing to have. I think that's why engagement is so much more important than size of audience. It's quality over quantity.
It's not about the numbers, it's about the engagement, which is where having a personal twist on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And getting people, so my reviews are known for being very, very honest, where a lot of big publications maybe steer on the safe side.
Yeah.
I used to do some blogging for a big theatre or a big website, and they used to say, we work on the basis that if you've got nothing good to say, just don't say it. And I was like, do you know what, that's not what I'm about.
That's not the point.
So I think, find your niche, and how do you fit into the industry, like you're saying, but what do you do that makes you different from everybody else?
It's such a young industry as well. Like even when we started, it wasn't a thing. Big people, from my sort of side of things, lifestyle-y bit, Zoella, Rosie Londoner, all these big lifestyle bloggers were getting paid, but the little guys weren't. Even people with my following probably weren't getting that much paid stuff. You get freebies and you get events and it's all that, whereas I know people with smaller accounts than me who are getting paid because I think the industry is growing, the rules are changing, and people are starting to realise what they're worth.
So I think you have to believe in yourself and you have to take risks, and you have to ask, I'm always firing emails off, asking to interview. I remember I asked to interview Lindsay Lohan when she was
Oh my God, I love
here.
that.
And,
did you?
No.
Oh, damn it.
But they didn't just brush me off.
Yeah.
They did consider it. I would say, believe in yourself, have confidence in what you're doing, know what your niche market is. What do you do that makes you stand out from everybody else so that you're not just another blog?
Knowing who you are as a person and then picking the specific things that you want to infuse into the blog. My blog is me, but it's not all of me. I picked the parts of my personality that I think work best for the business that I want to build, and I infuse that in there. So my bubbly, talky, sunny bits and the brightness, and it's translating that into a visual and the kind of post that I write and the voice that you have. So I think it's something to keep in mind, is your niche can just be yourself.
I would say the thing that works best for me is have a mailing list, an email mailing list.
We were talking about this earlier.
And build your audience on that, because I think email for me is the most lucrative way of making money. I can charge the most money for an email because I have a decent size mailing list.
It's permanent as well, and it's yours. You have those emails. That's your list that you have permission for, and I think it's interesting because we both do it, but we both work very differently.
Yeah.
So most of my income is through working with brands, so social media posts, creating photography, creating blog posts, that like collaborations with the brand directly rather than advertising. But for me, a lot of my followers are Instagram, and I do have a blog obviously, and I do have blog followers, but most of my following is through social media. But if Instagram shuts down tomorrow, I've got no way of contacting any of those people. If they don't read my blog, if they're not signed up to read my blog on Blog Lovin', then I'm going to fade out.
And people say to me, well, how do you get people to sign up to an email list? And for me, and I guess it would probably be the same for you, is competitions.
Or freebies as well, also works. So
if you've got like a handbag that someone's giving you to give away, sign up to my mailing list and be in with a chance to win. So for me, it's, I get offered a lot of theatre tickets that I can do competitions for. But that's again, perfect. It's knowing your audience. If it's a really small off West End show, people aren't going to bother to sign up to a mailing list because they're not that interested. So that's where you could do it on social media and say, share this post, like and share for a chance to win. And then if it's a bigger show, and even if you're at the point where you can't get the big shows to give you free tickets, I mean, I still can't. I did a competition for Phantom of the Opera a few months ago and they're never going to give away free tickets. Sometimes you just have to say, right,
to invest.
I'm going to buy 2 tickets and give them away because I know it will help me build my mailing list. Sometimes you just have to invest not only your time, and not a great deal of money, but sometimes
you do have to put something into it. And I think that's the same with anything though. It's the same with sport. Like, if you want to be a great tennis player, you have to invest money in getting a good tennis racket. You need some good trainers. Like, you wouldn't, and a teacher, a coach or whatever, you wouldn't expect to become a world-class tennis player without putting any money into it. You just wouldn't. Like, it's a hobby, even if it's a hobby. And I think a lot of people, they struggle to get it into their brain. But when you put it like that, like, it's a hobby, I don't want to put any money into it. Well, if your hobby is piano lesson, piano, then you're going to lessons, you're investing 30 quid or whatever it is a week to go to this piano lesson. Then what's the difference in investing £10 a year on a domain, 50 quid a year on a hosting, a nice theme that people, so your blog looks, or your website looks nice, like all of these things that I think you have to put something in so you can get something.
It does have to be your hobby. I was talking to someone last night and they said, but how do you go on holiday if you've got this? Or
I work.
How do you take weekends off? It's like you don't.
No.
I work 24 hours a day. Sometimes I'll wake up to a push notification on my phone at 3 a.m. of something that's just happened, and I'm up and I'm writing a blog about it.
So first of all, have a consistent brand. So know who you are, what you're writing about, how you're writing it, your style, like your visual style if you do photos, the kinds of brands you work with. So I have a running list of brands that I've either worked with before and they suit me perfectly, or I dream of working with. And some of them are like huge brands and stuff that you kind of go, but it might happen. So, knowing who you are, I think, is your first one, knowing what you do. Second is engage and make sure you've got a community who you talk to, who talk back to you, and who you're engaging with, that you have a relationship with. Third, I'm going to say mailing list, even though you've already said it, I'm going to say it twice because I haven't done it and I really, really, really should. Even
if you've only got a little bit of traffic on your website, you can still sell advertising. Just charge £10, £15. there's a lot of people out there, especially smaller shows, that may not have much budget, but if you've got 500 people a month that are really engaged with what you're doing, then just charge a tenner. Start, I started really cheap, and then as your numbers grow, as your audience builds, you can start charging more and more.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard. People say, oh, I want to do it, but I don't know how. Just do it.
Yeah.
There's never a right time, and there's never going to be a reason to. I think you just have to start doing it
and figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to be, as you said, you're never going to be prepared. I'm constantly learning new things. I've been doing it for 4 years. I've been earning money for like small amounts of money for probably about two and a half of those years. I've only been doing it full time 6 months, and literally I'm constantly learning new things about how to get business, how to grow my audience, sometimes you try something and it doesn't work, so you try something else. And I'd say get all of the social medias, try them all out, and then decide what works for you, because I think it's really tricky to keep up with all of them. Facebook is actually probably my least used one, just because I just forget about it, because I'm so busy with Instagram and Twitter and writing, and it just kind of falls by the wayside. Figure out what's worth your time and money, I think, is that. It's figure out what is worth investing in and what's worth, okay, it's there, and then what's just worth discarding, because
and know your audience in the sense of who are you talking to. So do a survey. I know that there are more people over 50 that follow me than any other age range.
Really?
Which is surprising. I didn't realise. I know that 60% are women. I know whereabouts they live.
Yeah.
Just through.
Creepy.
Well, like
I'm
London.
joking.
Yeah. I know how many times a month they go to the theatre and how much they're willing to spend on a ticket. Which again, if you're trying to approach somebody to work with them, and it's important to say, well, these people want to pay £30 top for a ticket. So there's no point in you pushing premium tickets for £200. These people want good offers and special deals. So know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So as two people that are full-time with it, hopefully there's some pieces of advice in there that you find interesting. Please, as always, let me know down in the comments if you found any of it useful. And also if you've got any other questions about blogging and making money out of it, please do let me know, and we can come up with some answers for you, I'm sure. Like, subscribe, follow Katy. I'll put all her links below. And now it's back to work. I guess this is work.
This is work.
That's the thing.
I'm technically working right now.
We're sitting here drinking coffee in Paris.
In Paris.
Bye guys.